We weren't supposed to run into him. It was a random house party, a friend of a friend type of night, the kind of thing you go to because your girlfriend says it'll be fun and you don't feel like arguing. I didn't walk in expecting a problem. I didn't walk in expecting a ghost from her past to be standing in the kitchen like he still had rights to her attention. But the second she saw him, her whole face changed. Not fear, not anger, recognition. And that was the first crack. The second crack was when she disappeared with him for 20 minutes. The third crack was when she came back acting like I was the weird one for noticing. And the final crack was the hug I saw through the sliding glass door. The one she told me didn't happen. Hey viewers, before we move on, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want more stories like this. Thanks. I'm 29. My name is Jason. I work as a site coordinator for a commercial HVAC company. It's the kind of job where you're always solving problems while pretending you're not stressed. I'm not a dramatic guy. I don't like scenes. I don't like confrontation. I like things clean and predictable. That's why dating Mia felt like a balance. Mia was 27. She worked in social media management, the kind where she could talk to anyone, blend into any room, and somehow make strangers feel like friends in 5 minutes. She was charismatic. She was quick. She was warm when she wanted to be. And when she wanted something, she could get it without raising her voice. We'd been together a year and a half. Not long enough to be bored. Long enough to feel like we were building something. We didn't live together yet, but we basically did. My place became the default. Her toothbrush showed up. Her skincare bottles multiplied. Her shoes lined up by my door like they belonged there. She'd joke about it. You're basically stuck with me now. And I'd smile because I liked the idea. Mia had an ex she never hid. His name was Trent. The way she described him was always consistent. He was immature, she'd say. He was fun, but toxic. Too many fights, too much drama. She said she left because she wanted peace. And I believed her because Mia never talked about him like she missed him. She talked about him like a lesson, like a mistake she'd grown out of. There were no late-night texts she hid from me. No random calls she stepped away to take. No suspicious behavior. If his name came up, she rolled her eyes. Trent is the kind of guy who thinks he's the main character, she'd say. I would laugh. It sounded harmless. So when her friend Olivia invited us to a party on a Saturday night, I agreed. It was in a townhouse on the north side of the city. Loud music, people in the kitchen, beer bottles on the counter, someone smoking on the back patio. The kind of party where nobody really knows the host, but everyone acts like they do. Mia was excited. She got dressed like she was going somewhere that mattered. Black skirt, fitted top, hair done, perfume I liked. She looked at herself in the mirror and smiled. Okay, she said, grabbing her purse. Let's go be social. I drove. We parked 2 streets away. The night air was cold enough to make your breath visible. She slipped her hand into mine and leaned against me as we walked, and I thought, this is good. This is normal. This is my girlfriend. We walked in and got hit by that wave of party heat, music, bodies, laughter, liquor. Mia blended in immediately. She hugged Olivia, complimented someone's earrings, took a drink from a stranger like it was nothing. I stayed near the wall for a minute, letting my eyes adjust, letting my brain catch up. And that's when I saw him. Trent, standing in the kitchen like he owned the room. He wasn't hard to recognize. Tall, confident, loud mouth, that kind of casual arrogance where even his posture says I'm a big deal. He was laughing at something someone said, head tilted back, and Mia's head snapped in his direction like her body reacted before her mind did. I felt her grip tighten on my hand. Not a squeeze of affection, a squeeze of tension. Then she let go. She didn't say his name. She didn't warn me. She just took a sip of her drink and stared for half a second like she was recalculating the night. I leaned closer. That's him? I asked quietly. Mia blinked. What? Trent? I said, nodding. Mia's smile turned fake for a second. Oh, she said. Yeah, that's him. You didn't say he'd be here. I didn't know he'd be here, she said quickly. It's a party. Her tone made it sound like I was being dramatic. So I adjusted. Okay, I said, shrugging. Whatever. But I watched her. Because when you love someone, you notice the smallest shifts. And Mia had shifted. Her shoulders were higher. Her laugh was louder. Her movements were sharper, like she was playing a role. Trent noticed her a minute later. His eyes landed on her like he'd been waiting for it. And he smiled. Not a friendly smile. A smile that carried history. He walked over like he had every right to. Mia, he said. He dragged her name out like it was familiar in his mouth. Mia smiled back. It wasn't a big smile, but it was real enough to make my stomach tighten. Trent, she said. He looked at me next. His eyes did that quick scan men do. Height, clothes, posture. Then he nodded like he'd approved something. And you're... Jason, I said, holding out my hand. He shook it, firm, slightly too long. Jason, he repeated, like he was testing how it sounded. Mia's boyfriend. He said it like a label, like an accessory. Mia took another sip of her drink and laughed lightly. Stop, Trent. Trent smirked. Just saying. I didn't think you'd go for a guy like him. There it was, the first dig. Mia laughed again, not nervous, not forced. A small, amused laugh, like he was being funny. I smiled politely and said nothing, because I wasn't going to compete with her past on a Saturday night in a stranger's kitchen. Trent leaned against the counter like he'd always belonged next to her. How've you been? He asked. Mia shrugged. Good. You look good, he said. Mia rolled her eyes but smiled anyway. You always say that, because it's always true, Trent said. I let the conversation drift, stayed close enough to be present but not so close. I looked insecure. That's the dance men do when they want to be confident. You don't want to hover. You don't want to disappear. So you stand there, calm, pretending your chest isn't tightening. After a few minutes, Trent nodded toward the back patio. I need air, he said. Come with me. He said it casually, like it was obvious she would. And Mia did something that shocked me. She hesitated. Not because she didn't want to, because she was considering how it would look. She glanced at me. It was quick, but it was a check, a calculation. Then she smiled. I'll be right back, okay? She said. Just gonna say hi properly? Hi properly, like the last 10 minutes hadn't been enough. I nodded. Sure, and they walked away together. Not fast, not rushed. Comfortable, like they'd done it before. I watched them move through the crowd and disappear toward the back. I didn't follow immediately, because again, I didn't want to be that guy. I told myself it was harmless. They were just talking. They had history, sure, but people can talk. That's what mature adults do, right? So I stayed inside and made small conversation with a guy named Kevin about football. I laughed at the right moments, took a sip of beer, checked my phone. 5 minutes passed, then 10, then 15. I stopped pretending I didn't care. I wandered toward the back of the house, not directly, just slowly, blending into the flow of people. The back patio door was slightly open. Cold air seeped in. I could hear voices outside. Mia's voice was there, light, laughing. And Trent's voice, lower, confident. The voice of a man who believes he can take what he wants. I stepped closer. Not enough to be obvious. Enough to see. The patio was lit by string lights. People were scattered around, smoking, talking, leaning on the railing. Mia and Trent were off to the side near the fence. Not surrounded, not part of a group. Just the two of them. Trent was standing close. Mia's arms were crossed, but her body was angled toward him. Her face was soft, her eyes were bright. The kind of look she hadn't given me all week because she'd been too tired. Trent said something. Mia laughed and slapped his arm lightly. Flirty. Familiar. Then Trent leaned in and lowered his voice. Mia leaned closer to hear him, and my stomach dropped because I recognized the posture. It wasn't two people talking as friends. It was two people rebuilding a private world. I didn't confront them right then. I went back inside, because part of me still wanted to believe I was misunderstanding it. Maybe it was innocent. Maybe she was just being polite. Maybe Trent was just being Trent. But when Mia finally came back inside, 20 minutes later, her cheeks were flushed. Her hair was slightly out of place. And the first thing she did was grab her drink and take a long sip like she needed something to settle herself. I watched her for a second. "Trent?" I asked casually. She blinked at me. "What about him?" "You disappeared," I said. "You okay?" Mia's expression tightened. "We were just talking, Jason." Her tone was sharp, defensive, like I'd accused her. I nodded. "Okay," but my calm didn't relax her. It irritated her. I could see it. She wanted me to either ignore it completely or freak out so she could call me insecure. My calm was inconvenient, so I stayed calm. And I watched her keep looking toward the back patio like her brain was still out there. The party kept going. Olivia tried to pull Mia into a group picture. Mia smiled for the camera, but her eyes kept scanning, waiting. Every time the back door opened, her head turned. Around midnight, Mia leaned into me and said, "I need the bathroom." She kissed my cheek quickly and walked down the hallway. I waited. 5 minutes, then 10. People went in and out of the bathroom. Mia didn't come back. I stood up and walked down the hall. The bathroom door opened and a girl walked out, fixing her makeup. Mia wasn't inside. My heart beat once, heavy. I walked toward the back door. It was open again. Cold air rushed in like a warning. I stepped outside. The patio was quieter now. A few people still smoking, but less noise. I scanned. No Mia. Then I saw movement on the side walkway that led around the house toward the driveway. Two silhouettes, Mia and Trent. They weren't on the patio. They were off the side, half hidden, where the string lights didn't reach. I walked closer, slow, careful, and I saw what she later told me didn't happen. Trent had his arms around her, not a casual one-arm hug. Both arms, full pull. Mia's head was against his chest. She wasn't pushing him away. She was holding him too. Then she pulled back and looked up at him. And I saw her face. Not a face you make when you're caught. A face you make when you want something. Trent said something low. Mia smiled. Then he kissed her forehead, and she laughed softly, like it was sweet. Then she hugged him again. Longer, tighter. And in that moment, all the words she'd ever said about him became worthless. Because bodies don't lie the way mouths do. I didn't step forward. I didn't shout. I didn't do anything dramatic. I turned around and walked back inside. My hands didn't shake. My breathing was even. That's what shock looks like in some people. Not crying, not rage. Just a quiet detachment that makes you scary because you stop needing anything from the person who hurt you. I walked through the living room, past strangers laughing, past music, past a spilled drink on the floor. I grabbed my jacket. I checked my phone for the time. 12:17 a.m. I walked out the front door, I got in my car, and I drove home alone. The drive was silent. No music, no radio. Just the hum of the engine and the steady realization settling deeper with every streetlight. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was my girlfriend choosing her ex in a moment where she thought she wouldn't be seen. And once you see that, you can't unsee it. I got home, walked into my apartment, and didn't sit down. I didn't collapse. I didn't stare into space. I did what my job trained me to do. I handled the problem. I opened the closet and pulled out 2 suitcases. One for clothes, one for shoes and random things. I went to the bathroom and grabbed her skincare and makeup bag. I went to the kitchen and grabbed the fancy mug she loved. I packed her items with the same methodical calm I used when I built inventory lists at work. Not cruel, efficient. This is what happens when someone breaks trust and you don't negotiate. I texted Mia once. When you're ready, call an Uber to my place. Your stuff will be outside the door. Then I put my phone face down and kept packing. 30 minutes later, my phone lit up with her name. Mia. I didn't answer. It rang again. Then again. Then came texts. Where are you? Jason, what the hell? Pick up, please. I didn't respond. At 1:08 a.m., I got a text that made my jaw tighten. Trent drove me home. I'm outside. Open the door. Of course he did. Of course she came back in his car. I didn't open the door. I didn't let her in. I walked to the entryway and looked through the peephole. Mia was standing there, hair slightly messy, eyes red, lipstick faded. Trent was behind her in the hallway, hands in his pockets, watching like he was curious to see if I'd fold. Mia knocked again. Jason, open up. I opened the door just enough to slide the suitcases out. Mia stared at them like she didn't believe it. What is this? She whispered. Your things, I said calmly. Her eyes widened. Jason, no, you're being insane. We were just talking. I nodded once. I saw you. Mia froze. Saw what? I stared at her. Your arms around him, I said. His arms around you. The way you looked at him. Mia's mouth opened and closed. It wasn't what you think, she said quickly. He was emotional. He needed closure. We were just what? I asked quietly. She couldn't answer. Trent took a step forward. Bro, relax, he said. You're making a big deal out of nothing. I looked at him, then back at Mia. This is why I'm done, I said. Because you let him speak for you. Mia's voice went shaky. Jason, please, let me in. We can talk inside. Please. I shook my head. No. She started crying. Jason, I love you. I swear. I didn't do anything. It was just a hug. I held her gaze. If it was just a hug, you wouldn't have disappeared, I said. You wouldn't have lied when you came back inside. You wouldn't have looked for him every time the door opened. Mia flinched like I'd slapped her. Trent shifted behind her. Mia turned toward him, frustrated. Stop, she hissed. And that small moment told me everything, too. She was mad at him, not because he'd crossed a line, because he made it messy. I reached for the chain lock and pulled the door closer. Mia panicked and grabbed the edge. Jason, please, don't do this. I leaned forward slightly so my voice stayed calm. This isn't a debate, I said. It's a decision. Then I closed the door. I locked it. And I stood there for a second with my hand on the handle. I expected to feel pain. I expected my chest to cave in. I expected regret. What I felt was relief. Because I didn't have to wonder anymore. I didn't have to read between lines. I didn't have to be the guy who smiled while his girlfriend disappeared with her ex at a party. I heard them outside for a minute. Her crying. His low voice. Then footsteps. Then silence. By morning, I had blocked her number. Blocked Trent. Blocked Olivia. Blocked anyone connected to that night. I took the day off work. Not because I was shattered. Because I wanted to reset my life without distractions. I cleaned the apartment. I changed the sheets. I threw away the half-used bottles of shampoo she left. I moved the furniture slightly, just enough to break the muscle memory of her being there. And I didn't miss her like I thought I would. I missed the version of us I believed in. The version where she wasn't still reachable by her past. The version where I wasn't a placeholder. 3 weeks later, I got the final confirmation through a mutual friend. Mia and Trent were together again. Not officially, not posted, but together. The same friend told me. She said you were too intense, that you freaked out over nothing. I laughed when I heard that, not because it was funny, because it was predictable. When someone wants to do the wrong thing, they'll call your boundaries a problem. They'll call your standards insecurity. They'll call your self-respect a tantrum. And the craziest part is, people around them will nod along, because it's easier than admitting the truth. The truth was simple. She didn't just hug her ex. She chose him in a room full of witnesses, and she expected me to stay. I didn't. And my life got quieter after that. Not lonely, just quiet. The kind of quiet you get when you remove the person who made you question your own eyes. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and hit the like button if you want more stories like this. And tell me in the comments, what would you have done if your partner disappeared with their ex at a party and came back saying it was nothing?